Hey everybody, welcome back to another Reality Skewed Gamers reviews with your boy Ranger J 1999, and that massive of manliness over there is Cashmere the Big Cake. Hey, how are you?
Today we will be stupendous.
Okay, good.
Stupendous.
Yes, good. And we are here to review the season finale, episode 8, season 3 of The Mandalorian, named
The
The
Return.
Return. And we'll get our general thoughts on this. Spoilers ahead, guys. If you don't want to be spoiled, then by golly, don't watch this because we're going to go spoiler heavy. Then we're going to talk about this episode in depth, and then we'll go into just the overall season, our overall thoughts of where we feel on the season. Give our ratings on both the final episode and season 3 overall.
Three.
General thoughts. I just really enjoyed it. This was a good old fashioned Star Wars, fight 'em. Incredible cinematography in this, action scenes, really, really good. There were some really powerful emotion moments that I felt that were really good in here. I really liked the season finale. I thought it was really, really good. Could have done with a little bit more, but not bothered by it because,
Mhm.
I got a lot of feels and a lot of happy, awesome moments from this. How did you feel overall there, Kay, of the season finale?
Well, my bar after last season, there was no way it was reaching
Mm-mm.
that. So I went into this, and after last week's episode, which I thought was just phenomenal,
Right.
I even like can't. I don't even think it could reach that. But it did a pretty good job. I mean, they tied some things up. There's more questions I would have liked. I would like more of a cliffhanger, but we'll get into that.
I like the way it ended. I mean, just to see, and we'll get how it gets there, but it's just Mando and Grogu and their big sloth of land, just getting ready to do their thing. And I like that. I love that scene where at the end there, where it's just Grogu in the pond, messing with frogs, and Mando just sitting there just chilling. Like, okay, now we're
Mm-hmm.
back to that what the original series was about. Is this those two
Yeah.
going out? And I liked how they tied that into, what they're going to be doing for season, because we know season 4 is written, getting ready to go into
Yep.
production. So we know that that's going to be a thing. And I like that. I really felt that this season was Bo Katan's season, more than The Mandalorian. I don't know how you feel about that, Kay. We've talked about this before, but
Yeah.
I really feel that this is Bo Katan's season. And there were some really, just really epic moments in this. Um, and really, do we want to break this down by how the story plays out? Because it's just a big fight scene. I mean, just the
Yeah.
moments. What are some of the moments for you, Kay, that stood out? Like, the moments, like for me, seeing Grogu fighting the Praetorian Guards was fantastic, man. It was such an emotional moment for me. And then Grogu, he sacrificed himself to get the Praetorian Guards to distract them so Mando
Mm-hmm.
can take on him, and Mando's trying to get to him. And to see Grogu hopping around, giving them nothing but, just and that scene where finally Grogu and Mando start fighting together, where he's using the Force against the Praetorian
Yep.
guards and using the Force, and he does the same thing with Bo-Katan and Jin. The scene where Grogu saves him was unbelievable, because you saw them shield him, and he's like, "No, I got this," and held the blast and the fire away. I was just a powerful
Mm-hmm.
moment that I really loved. I really liked the Grogu moments in this. It was really, really awesome moment. Especially that
Yeah.
scene where I was in there going, "Yeah, kick their ass," where Grogu's using the Force and throwing their weapons and letting, when they try to do something, he's like, "Nope, take out your foot," and
Yeah.
Jin is just kicking his ass. And of course, at the end, Din Djarin adopts Grogu, which I thought was really cool, so that they get
Mm-hmm.
around him not speaking yet. But I do feel I was watching some other reviews, and Christian Harloff had something to say. He's like, "Okay, we got to get past the baby can't speak anymore. I think season 4 he's got to
Yeah.
start speaking." How do you feel about that?
Yeah. Well, just the one thing that summed up this episode, and was the one line Bo said. We're not Mandalorians. We're better. We're better when we fight together.
Yes.
And that summed it up because they each got their asses kicked, and there's no way Dane would have been able to do anything against the Praetorian Guards without
Grogu,
Grogu.
or
Um,
against Moff Gideon, who
yeah, against Moff Gideon, like
yeah.
so like they
And then
just they
yeah,
they work
Bo-Katan couldn't do
together.
anything against him,
Yeah.
and the dark saber gets destroyed, and that's when she
Mm-hmm.
says that, and then they all work together to take him out, which I thought was really
Yep.
cool. I think everybody had the armor is just she's such a badass, and I'm so glad that she didn't turn heel because remember we talked about
Yeah.
could she have been that? I didn't want that. She's who she is. She's staying true to her character, and the scene where they relit the forge was awesome. Was just
Mm-hmm.
absolutely awesome to see. But her fighting in the air, that air's fight was fucking great, dude. Oh my god,
Yeah.
man. To see each of them, I think what was what's her name? She did a thing where she slid on the ground, fell off the side, shot, did another move, shot. I was like, God, and
Yeah.
then Armor just going around just beating the shit out of
Just
those guys,
yeah,
man.
she doesn't need a gun, she doesn't need a blaster, she
No,
just needs those, whatever those things are, the forge things to just crack some skulls.
oh my god, and it was such a
Which
power.
is awesome.
I had feels when you saw Bo Katan, they're all flying, the reinforcements come in, they jump out of the ship, and then she just turns on the dark saber points, and they all just go in like
Yep.
the Knights of Old. Man, it was such a great shot. Um, but that was really what it was all about. It was just about
Mhm.
the fights, Mandal. And we figured Moff Gideon's plan. He was trying to clone himself so he could become. His one thing was he didn't have the Force, but they stopped that. I mean, Red Five had a or R5 had a moment here, being
Yeah.
scared, looking over the edge and doing all the stuff that he was doing. So that was cool to see. Um, there's so many good moments here. Them
Yeah.
escaping, the telling about the vegetation, Mandalore. The ending scene was really awesome too to see them in the waters, in that scene, and then you see Grogu
Hmm.
look in, and they kind of hinted of him like with the Force, seeing the mythosaur kind of open its eyes to
Yep.
Grogu, which I thought was really really cool too.
Yeah,
Um,
that could be a nice foreshadow for eventually he's going to be, the ultimate Mandalore or whatever. He's going to be the leader,
I don't know,
way
but
down the
God,
road.
yeah, it was just a cool scene to see, just foreshadowing, things. I saw some comments and people said, "Well, we didn't get any sneak peek of Thrawn." No, we didn't need it. That's going to be for
Yeah,
the
no,
Ahsoka series.
yeah, we talked about that last week, and I said that ultimately that's I would have loved that to be the final thing, like Thrawn just kind of,
A Thanos moment, I'll do it myself kind of thing,
exactly type of
but
type of
didn't
thing.
need it.
But you know what? Thrawn that's going to be Ahsoka's, bad in that one. He's going to be the main guy there. So
Yeah.
they didn't need it in here. It would have been awesome personally, but it wasn't needed.
Yeah,
It was still.
yeah, this was just all fights and moments and, just everything. It was just well done, I had heard a
Mhm.
rumor that was only 38 minutes. It is 38 minutes. The episode's actually like 40 something minutes, 43, 44 minutes, but that's with the credits and stuff.
Yeah,
I'm glad it was actually 38 minutes. Could I've used more? Sure. I would have liked to seen a little bit more conversation at the end between Bo
yeah.
and Jin, but that's just not the way they are. They're Mandalorians. Someone said I would have liked to see Bo say something. She gave her nod of her head. She's there, and they don't need to have
Hmm.
this conversation. I mean, you heard it in the armor's voice when she said, kind of proudly to Jin, like, "This is the way." Like,
Hmm.
yes, now you're getting it. That's what I got a really powerful connection when she's saying something, and it's like she's waiting for Jin to do what she knows he needs to do, and because she's like, "Well, these are the rules." But what if I adopt him? And then she says, "Well, then you can." And it's like, "Yeah, this is the way." And the way she said it is such a great delivery of that line.
Yeah,
I really loved that. But I'm talking a lot here because I just love
yeah.
this episode so
No,
much.
and going on that, like she reminds me, she's like that parent that is waiting for you to make the right decision and not going to tell you what to do. You're going to let you do what you want to do, but wait for you to make that right decision. And then they're going to be like, this is the way,
There's
you know?
also,
So,
yeah, it was just so many good moments. Jin fighting through all the troopers to get to Moff Gideon was dope because they had R5 take down the shields one at a
yeah,
time, and he just
one at a
tore their
time. And
tore their ass up. And it's a difference between having Beskar and growing up with Beskar is the way I best describe it, because these troopers are
Mm,
the troopers that Moff Gideon have. They're good fighters. I mean,
yeah.
they're solid, but the Mandalorians, man, they now this is a part of their heritage. They grow up with this stuff. They know how to fight in it, and you can see the difference, the subtle differences of how Jin was fighting in the armor as compared to they were. You know, um, and I love that contrast of him doing stuff that they weren't doing because they don't know how to do that
Yeah.
because they just, using their armor. He knew where to attack it in the weakest spots and how to take it
Hmm.
on. And yeah, I mean this season finale delivered for me. I had some emotional feels seeing Grogu doing what Grogu did. That last
Hmm.
scene, I mean, good lord, Grogu saving those two and Din and or Din and Bo just looking on
Oh yeah.
like, what the hell? And just seeing him use the force. And you could tell he's getting stronger in the force. Remember
Yeah.
before he would use the force and he would get really tired. Now he can use the force. He was a little winded, but I mean,
Hmm.
he's getting stronger in the force, which I really love. And they kind of show him just at the end with messing with the frogs when they're on that planet. But
Yeah. Well, I think that's showing him grow. It's like showing him like, all right, last season he would have ate that thing. Now he's maturing,
yes,
and he's just still playing with it, but but he didn't use it for food.
he's learned the lesson from Master Skywalker on that.
Yeah,
And IG comes back. Great scene with sitting up. I think the what's that show going to be called? Ghost.
yeah. Well, yeah, there was supposed to be the Rangers of the New Republic,
Yeah, but I
but
think
that
they're
kind of
yeah
got scrapped.
yeah.
Yeah, so it's not that, but then there's going to be damn it.
What's the name? Ghost something or I could be
Uh,
completely wrong on this. Whatever that other show is going to be.
yeah,
I don't have it in front of me right now. Why can't I think of that?
yeah, but I mean
I'm
that
just
was
really having a
that was
brain
a good
fart.
scene of like him just hey, you can't do everything. Your politics won't allow you to
I
do
could be
everything you
that
want to do. So
independent
I think for a minute
contractor, and the guy's like, "Let me think about it." It's like, "You already
you
made the
thought
decision.
about
You
it.
thought about
Yeah.
it. He's a good deal, and you need me, and you would love to have me working for you for those tough targets that you just can't go after."
Hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
and that's what he wants to do. And I love that it's just going to be Mando and
Yeah.
Grogu again. We'll see what happens and transpires for season 4, but I love that it's getting back to now. We're in the part where Grogu is going to go through his training, to his journey, the Mandalorian journey to basically earn his stripes. And it's going to be really interesting and fascinating to see, you know, um, a Mandalorian trained Jedi, how,
Mhm.
how that's going to play in the new modern, because of course there's I don't know which Mandalore it was that created the dark saber. He was became a Jedi, and I don't remember his name, Visla, but yeah, I'm really fascinated to see where they're going to take the story in episode 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, there'll be
I'm
some
gonna be
side stories, but yeah, go ahead.
yeah. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm nervous about it. I'm nervous that they're gonna kind of not forget about him, because I mean, just Grogu is just too important of a character for Disney themselves. But like, is this gonna be more of a bow show
I don't
next
think it's
year
going
for
to
season
be. I think
four?
she'll make a cameo appearance. I think they'll go back to Mandalore for something, but
I mean,
kind of like Grief was more prominent in season 1, but he's made certain appearances here
yeah,
and there. I think that's what's going to be happening with Bo. They'll eventually tie back in, but I think this is going to be the Grogu Mando stuff now of him going through his journey. I think they're going to be more doing stuff on the Outer Rims, and something's going to. We know Thrawn's going to be the big Thanos of this,
yeah.
and so they're going to be dealing with stuff like that. With their missions and things. But I don't think Bo's going to play. Bo had her season this, and I'm glad they did because
Hmm.
I loved the story, and Katie Sackhoff played her wonderfully. I thought Katie Sackhoff
Yep.
killed it this season. She was fantastic. Um, but yeah, I mean, anything else on the season finale that stood out to you? Moments, scenes?
No, I think we covered all the big ones. There's really um, nothing that we didn't. Honestly, the only thing that I was a little upset about is who's the other spy from last week.
I think it was a play on words. It just says the spies.
Yeah, like
That could have been a misdirect. Where as a Star Wars fan, we'd read something, maybe we just read too much into it.
exactly, and that's what it. I mean, it reminded me of like in between. episode 7 and 8, like all those theories that were going on, who's Snook,
Yeah,
who's all this thing, like who's Ray's parents, type of thing. It was all that for a week versus 2 years, and then you're just kind of like, who was it? Like
we
you
don't
didn't
know.
really answer the question. I was just like, so it's kind of that was disappointing. But because the entire time I'm waiting for, like, all right, Axe is getting up there. Is he going to take that ship and
No,
you
man,
know
he
and
was
start
clutch, dude.
attacking them?
It was such
Yeah,
a
is
great
it?
scene too when he gets into the ship and they all jump out of the ship. They can do that because they're
Oh
Mandalorians?
yeah,
They jump out of the ship and they get to they fall to the drop ships and the drop ships fly in and oh god, it was so good, man. I'm telling you,
yeah.
the director, and I don't remember his name, he did a fantastic job with these two
Rick
episodes.
Famuyiwa.
Yeah, I
Uh,
can't say his name.
yeah, yeah.
And I won't even butcher
Rick
it.
F.
Yeah. Really, I mean, this was the same episode, it was just cut into two, which is
Yeah.
fine. Um, but I really, let's rate it because I want to
Well,
talk about the
what? Actually,
season overall.
one other thing
Yeah,
I
go
have
ahead for it.
to. So at one point, and I can't even remember. Like they were Grogu and Din were going to find the Moff
Off Gideon,
Gideon,
yeah.
and it did it reminded me of episode 4. It did like a weird change scene where you could just kind of see, like, it almost like it reminded me of the original prequels, and then all of a sudden, as they were going, like when they were on the Death Star, when
Yeah.
the group was on the Death Star, and then all of a sudden it started playing some original music in a Mandalorian type of way. That was pretty cool. But rating this, um,
Out
I
of
mean,
five dark sabers.
I'm giving this 4. I'm giving this
I
4
give it
dark.
4.25. I had a little bit more emotional moments,
Mm-hmm.
and that's okay because we're all going to react differently to things. I mean,
Yeah,
the
basically the same.
Grogu was a star in this one. I loved it. I loved the action in this. It was a good Star Wars finale.
Yeah.
With the fights were phenomenal. Fights were incredible, man. I don't even know who choreographed these fights, but they were brutal. They were ruthless, and it was no quarter given. Everyone was going to
Mhm.
fight to the death, and they did. And we didn't see Moff Gideon die. We just saw him engulfed in flames.
Yeah,
So
like, and I
it's
hope that's
Star
not one of.
Wars. You never know.
Yeah, was that one of his clones actually? What, type of thing? I
They
mean, I
got rid of
hope
all the
not.
other ones, but you never know. And you can
Yeah.
always bring a character back in Star Wars. I don't really care. It's sci-fi fantasy. I mean, they can do
Whoa,
whatever they
whoa! This
want.
isn't true. This isn't real life.
I wish.
No, I don't.
That would be dope, man.
I don't want to worry about my planet blowing up just because somebody's pissed off.
I know, right? Up.
Yeah.
Cashmere's talking crap about the Empire. Well, let's just go for it.
Hey,
Hey, whoa, hey, yo.
you may fire when ready.
Uh-huh. Okay, let's talk about this season overall. We've seen all 8 episodes. For the most part, I'm going to rate this 4 out of 5. I mean, the reason I don't go higher is because there was some filler in here that just didn't work for me. I think the weakest episodes for me were 2 and 6.
Yeah.
Or not 2.
Well,
Whichever one was the one where they're on Coruscant. Was that 2? I think that was 2. Um,
yes.
yes.
Right? Or was that 3?
It could have been
Whatever.
3. Whichever one that
Which,
was.
yeah, Dr.
Um,
Persian episode.
yeah, that one was a weak episode. 6 was a weak episode, although it had some really good stuff in it. Those
Mhm.
bring it down for me overall. But
Yeah.
what I enjoyed about this season is that they focus on the Mandalorian culture. We see the Mandalorian uniting, the retake of Mandalore, what it all led to. They delivered on that. I loved Bo's journey. This is a character that we followed for a long time and know her trials and tribulations and the things that she's gone through. And to see where she was at the beginning of the season, I think they did a great job of really developing her character to where she becomes the leader now that she was meant to be. Um, and I thought they did a great job. I mean, Din and Grogu played a little bit of a side to that, but they had some really awesome moments, and their relationship has been built, and they've got that set up now. So overall, I'll go 4 out of 5 on this. I still think season 2 for me is better than this season,
Yeah.
but I still rate. I think this season overall, um, if I had to rate the 3 seasons, I'd go 2, 3, and then 1. 1 had a little bit more filler in it. It was a little bit slower. It does get awesome at the end. There is some powerful moments, and I did like season 1, but I don't know. Season 2 for me still awesome. Although there was
Yeah.
some stuff there, but it introduced so many awesome things. Season 2 for me just
Mhm.
got to rate a little bit higher than this season, but I still had a lot of fun with this season, and I thought they did a really
Yeah.
good job. Some
Yeah.
stuff they could have done better.
I'd go two, one, and then three. And you're talking, you know, just three great seasons all overall. Not, it's not a big margin here, but I great season. They developed Bo even more than for anybody, the layman that doesn't know Clone Wars and Rebels, like she did a great thing to just show everybody the Mandalore culture, and which was never really totally done in the shows. So I think that was great. Armor was just she's just phenomenal.
I love the
I'm
armor.
Yeah, like I said, I'm kind of worried how next year might go, but we'll see. Because it can go, I think, many different ways. I mean, there's kind of rumors out there that Pedro Pascal is not a big fan of doing this, so
I don't know
I guess
why
we'll
he.
see.
I mean, it's a lot, and actors after a certain point want to do other things, and I
Yeah,
respect that too. Because after the third or fourth season, you're kind of like, okay, I don't want
yeah,
to,
and I mean he does, and mostly he's just doing voice work. I mean, they didn't even see his face this season, which was fine. So he stuck with the
I think
with the.
season 4 we're going to get much more on him and much more on Grogu and their building relationship, the father son kind of thing.
Mhm.
Um, I'm excited for it. But what would you rate this
Yeah.
season overall? I gave it a 4.
Overall, I'm with you. I'm giving it a four.
Okay.
I still thought it was a great season. I'm still happy with it. Kind of the same thing with the episodes. We're kind of on the same page with that. Um, I can't wait for season four.
Yeah, I'm really excited. So we are going to be taking a break with our shoe reviews for a couple weeks. We'll review Visions. It'll all come out at once, and we'll do an episode on that. But we really won't have anything until
Yeah,
Ahsoka comes out.
Ahsoka
So
is supposed to come out in August
yeah,
or
so we'll have a
late
whole
summer.
thing for Ahsoka, and we'll review that show. If you have not seen The Mandalorian, I don't know why you're watching this, but if you just don't care about spoilers, want to hear us talk about it, that's fine. I always show to everybody that wants to see it. I'll run it for you guys so you can watch it and check it out. Just join our Discord. I'll get that going here in a week or two. Just so the people that don't have access to Disney Plus in the world or doesn't have access to these things can watch it and get a taste and sense of everything. It's interesting. Someone that I was talking to people that watched that binged it, and then like we did with the episodic, had a
Yeah,
different take. They loved it more in most cases than if they just watched it weekly, right? And I was like, yeah, usually when I binge something, man, it always seems to be better, right? Because you're just constantly
yeah.
in it. It doesn't have those interruptions, and
Hmm.
you don't really have time to nitpick and stuff, and it just seems to hit you differently. So, I always
Yeah, you
like to
get
get those
yeah,
reactions.
yeah. When you get that episode, that's kind of like, it was all right. But then you put on that, like if you watch an episode six, you're like, I really need that, and then you go right into episode seven, you're like, what was episode six? I don't remember.
Yeah, it doesn't really register as much because it's flowing, right?
Yeah.
So it's always interesting to go back, and I always do usually on some of these is I'll go back and watch from a certain point and just see how
Hmm.
I feel rewatching if I miss anything, Easter eggs, things of that nature. So yeah, so let us know in the comments what you think. I mean, we do these, and these are just our opinions. This is media; it's objective. Feel free to leave comments about what you thought of this episode and then overall this season of Mandalorian. Just be constructive with your comments. We appreciate positive or negative. If you didn't like it, fine. Let us know why, and that's okay. Be constructive about it, and if you did love it, let us know why you loved it. Maybe you loved it more than we did, and that's okay too. There's no wrong answer on this stuff, but we want to get both sides of the coin. So feel free to share your opinion, and if you just be respectful for others. People are are going to feel different things, and yeah, and hit a thumbs up on the video if you like it, to this content. Subscribe, and if you like the stuff that we're doing, think about coming to Patreon, come to join our Discord. We do all kinds of Star Wars stuff. We do Star Wars The Old Republic. We play Star Wars Galaxy Heroes religiously. We do all kinds of stuff with Reality Scoot Gamers, so please check it out. So on behalf of myself, I'm Ranger J 1999. That's Big K Cashmere. We will see you in a while for Visions, couple weeks, and then
Yeah.
Ahsoka. Yeah, Ahsoka in August. So everyone take care. May the force be with you.